Thank my colleague from Florida. This has been a confusing time period, I think, for most of America, and why the confusion is becoming so cluttered among us all is because we're using definitions that sometimes don't seem to make sense for the situation that we're in. So I was thinking back, and not too long ago, we were told that we don't have to worry about our borders because we really don't have a crisis there. What we have is a challenge. And we seem to constantly redefine or put different labels on what we know to be true. In fact, I think it's time for a moment of clarity. I went to Oxford Languages to find out just what a crisis is. So this is not my definition. This is what Oxford Languages said. A crisis is a time of intense difficulty or trouble or danger, a time when a difficult or important decision must be made. So what is it that I'm talking about? I am talking about our crisis at our borders. So why would a guy who lives in western Pennsylvania worry about what's happening on the borders in Texas and Arizona? That's almost 2,000 miles away from where I live. That's almost 2,000 miles away from the people I represent. How could it possibly impact them? And so I would tell my friends that if you don't think this is going to have an impact in the community you live in, this is coming to a town real close to you real soon. In Erie, Pennsylvania, we are now housing about 150 young girls that have come from the border. Now, I don't know where their starting point was. I know where their entry came. And I know now that these unaccompanied young ladies, they're 7 to 12 years old, have now been shuttled to Erie, Pennsylvania into housing, which is much better than what they were experiencing at the border. They're living there now, and I'm not sure that they know what the consequences of this relocation means to them. I have been told that of those people that have come in, those little girls that have come in, approximately 30 of them have COVID. We sit in this house, the people's house, and we debate issues that are sometimes very confusing and very conflicting and separate us as a people. This is not an issue that should separate us. And if we really believe that there is a humanitarian crisis, we should fix it in a humanitarian way. I've often been told you can't beat something with nothing. The previous administration under President Trump had a very clear policy about how we were supposed to handle the surge at our borders. Very clear process. Very clear of what was to take place. That all changed. As the Biden administration came in, they said, no, this policy from the previous administration is untenable, it's not humane, and it's no longer going to be in existence. Again, you can't replace something with nothing. My question to the administration, through several letters, through several requests for the HHS and the Office of Refugee Resettlement, is answered with no answer at all. So if you have no policy, you have no answer. And if you continue to say that we really don't have a crisis at our border, then you were either unaware or just choose not to say what you really have in mind. And you can only do that if you don't really have anything in mind. Look, I think that in the people's house, and we always define of who's in the majority and who's in the minority and who represents whom and whose best interests are being upheld. And I would just suggest that this is the people's house. It's not called the Republican House or the Democrat House. It's called the people's house. And the people, the American people, need to have an answer to what is our policy on the border? What is our policy going forward? How are we going to relocate these children? And they are children. My wife and I being the mother and father of 4 children and the grandparents of 10 children, I cannot imagine in my life handing over my grandchildren or my children to somebody I don't know and say, would you please get them to America, where I know they'll be safe and sound and well treated. This is truly a crisis. More importantly, this is a dereliction of duty by the current administration. I am requesting that the Biden administration answer not just me from Western Pennsylvania, the Congressional 16th District, but the people of America who deserve to know what this policy is, how it's going to be administered, And what do these contracts look like when we're transforming these children from one location to another? And ultimately, where are they supposed to land? Where are they supposed to find refuge? Where are they supposed to find a loving family to take care of them? I have been told that 90% of these unaccompanied children are going to end up with family members. And my question is, where did you collect that data? I have granddaughters who are 12. I have granddaughters who are 7. I think it would be a difficult question to ask them what their future looks like whenever they've been shuttled off to someplace far away from home by people they don't know, and then being told, don't worry, everything's going to be fine, and 90% of you are going to end up with a family member. Really? Where is that data? I will close with this, and I really appreciate the gentleman giving me this time. It's time for Americans to stand up and demand that we have an answer to what our policy is at our border. What are we going to do with these children? If we are truly calling this a humanitarian crisis, then we need to have a humanitarian answer. No answer, no process, absolutely is not the way America works. So I am calling on the administration today to please answer our questions. I will be in Erie, Pennsylvania on Saturday, where I will be able to physically examine where these children are. And I will come back to the Congress with what I've seen happen. So I thank the gentleman for yielding me time, and I yield back. Thank you.